When you think of the Israel Defense Force, you might think of this, or this, or maybe even this. But the full picture looks a lot different. And here are 8 things you need to know about the IDF. The IDF has an extremely strict code of conduct for when soldiers are authorized to use force, and violations can result in a soldier receiving a lengthy prison sentence. The majority of positions in the IDF aren't combat, but in fact are humanitarian or civil positions designed to support other soldiers and improve society, such as diplomacy units. The IDF is not a Jewish defense force, it's an Israeli defense force, meaning the IDF defends all Israelis, Arabs and Jews. And every year, the enlistment of Arabs in the IDF is growing. Thousands of Arabs, Druze, and other Israeli minorities proudly serve in the army in different and important positions. And when they swear into the army, they even do so on the Quran or the Bible. There are even entire units of Arab soldiers, such as the Gadzar Brigade of Bedouin Muslim Israelis, as well as soldiers and officers who serve in positions of command over Jewish soldiers. Just ask me, I was one. During the COVID pandemic, the Home Front Command has been working with Arab communities to ensure the Arab public gets the proper resources and access to prevent the spread of coronavirus. The IDF has engaged in numerous life-saving humanitarian operations around the world, such as the Surfside building collapse in Miami, the earthquake in Mexico, the earthquake in Nepal, and the earthquake in Haiti. But the IDF doesn't just help friendly states. They also opened up a field hospital for the sole purpose of helping Syrians injured in the bloody Syrian civil war. They treated thousands of men, women, and children and sent humanitarian aid to Syria, which restored 2 medical facilities, despite the fact that Syria is an enemy country. When the IDF does have to eliminate terror sites, such as weapon storage facilities, they have higher standards than any army in the world, using tactics like roof knocking to alert anyone in the location to evacuate before bombing the site. They also drop leaflets warning civilians to evacuate and call civilians personally when they have to take out a civilian site that terror groups like Hamas are using.
תבדוק אם יש פה ילדים. הם זזים מהר, זה לא ילדים? יש פה ילדים כנראה, אנחנו עוצרים את זה.
But what about the Palestinians? Right? Right. I'm glad you asked. Because the IDF actually has an entire branch whose job it is to coordinate with the Palestinian government to ensure Palestinians receive proper amounts of water, fuel, and yes, even COVID-19 vaccines. And while you might think Israelis and Palestinians are enemies, the truth is that the situation is complex. But every day, there is a quiet cooperation, including on security coordinations, to keep both sides safe in Israel and in the West Bank and stop terrorism. No army is perfect. But before you repeat exaggerations and smears about the IDF, double-check the facts. Every day, the IDF is working to ensure a safer, better Israel and a safer, better world as well.